Buying a home can be overwhelming, especially if it's your first time. It can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire home buying process from start to finish, so you'll know exactly what to expect. I'm Al Rather, a realtor here in Central Florida. Let's jump right in. So let's start with the very first thing you should do. And honestly, I think it's one of the most important steps in the entire process, and that is assessing your finances. I don't mean you have to have everything figured out. I simply mean take a good look where you are financially just before you start this journey. Your financial picture determines everything else in the process. It determines what loan you qualify for, what interest rate you get, how much you can afford, and whether the whole thing goes smoothly or falls apart at the worst possible moment. So let's start with your credit score. Your credit score is one of the most powerful numbers in the home buying process. Lenders use it to decide how risky it is to loan you money, and the higher your credit score, the better the interest rate you'll get. You want to pull your free credit report online and review it to ensure all your data is accurate, because mistakes on your credit reports are more common than people realize. Incorrect late payments, accounts that don't belong to you, and balances that are just wrong. If you find anything that looks off, you want to dispute it before you even apply for a loan. Even small improvements in your credit score can save you a significant amount of money. Next, you want to look at your debt to income ratio. This is how much money is coming in every month versus how much is going out each month. This includes your rent, your car payment, student loans, credit cards, and personal loan. This is very important in determining if a loan will be possible. Next, you want to start thinking about your savings. Do you have money set aside for a down payment? Have you started saving for closing costs? And just as important, will you still have an emergency fund after you buy the home? One mistake I never want people to make is spending every dollar just to get into a house. Home ownership comes with unexpected expenses. Maybe the air conditioner needs repaired. Maybe the water heater goes out. These things happen. So it's always a good idea to have money left over after closing. The better you understand your finances now, the smoother the rest of the home buying process is going to be. You'll know your limits, you'll shop with confidence, and make decisions based on what's best for you instead of getting caught up in emotions. Once you have a clear picture of your finances, your next move is getting pre-approved by a lender. A pre-approval is when a lender takes a close look at your financial situation. They're going to review things like your income, employment, and your credit history, your debt, and your assets. Based on that information, they'll determine how much they're willing to lend you. To get pre-approved, you'll need to gather some documents. You need your W-2s or your tax return for the last 2 years, recent pay stubs from the past 30 to 60 days, and 2 to 3 months of bank statement and a government issued ID. Now, the most important advice I can give you at this stage, do not just go with the first lender you talk to. You want to shop around and get quotes from at least 3 lenders. You want to try a bank, a local credit union, or a mortgage broker. You want to compare the interest rates, the closing costs, and the different loan programs, and ask lots of questions. Even a slightly interest rate can save you thousands of dollars over the life of the loan. And here's something a lot of people don't know. When multiple lenders pull your credit within a short window, typically 14 to 45 days, it counts only as one inquiry on your credit report. So shopping around will not hurt your score as long as you do it within that window. Once you have your pre-approval letter, you know your budget. Now you're ready to start looking seriously. Now it's time to find a real estate agent. A good real estate agent does a lot more than just unlock doors and show you houses. They're going to be your trusted advisor throughout the entire process. They're going to help you write strong offers, negotiate the contract, explain all the paperwork, and make sure you understand exactly what you're signing before you sign it. They're also going to work with the lender, the title company, the home inspector, and the seller's agent to keep everything moving. And trust me, something almost always comes up during the transaction. When it does, your agent is there to help you solve the problem to keep everything on track. At the end of the day, buying a home is one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. Having someone in your corner who's looking out for your best interests can save you time, reduce a lot of stress, and potentially save you a lot of money. That's exactly why having a good agent matters. One piece of advice I'll give is this: don't just choose an agent because they're a friend or because they're the first person you meet. You want to start with referrals or go online if you have to. You want to read the written reviews and testimonies. You want to interview at least 2 to 3 agents before you commit. You want to find someone who communicates well, understands the market you're buying in, and someone you feel comfortable working with because you spend a lot of time together throughout the transaction. Now, once you have the right agent, it's time for the fun part, and that's searching for your new home. This is where the excitement really begins. This is where all the preparation you've done starts to come together. It's time to actually start looking at homes. And before you start scheduling showings, you want to sit down and write 2 lists: your must-haves and your nice-to-have. Must-have are like true non-negotiable. Things like the number of bedrooms you actually need, being in a specific school district if you have children, the maximum commute that you can live with, a 1-story layout for accessibility reasons. These things cannot be compromised. Knowing them up front keeps you focused. Your nice to have are things that would be great to have, but they aren't deal breakers. Maybe it's a pool. It could be a renovated kitchen, a 3-car garage, or a large covered patio. You want to give both lists to your agent. It clarifies your need so you can secure the right home immediately. When you're touring homes, here's what you should actually be looking at. Don't get distracted by the staging and the decor. All that goes away when the seller moves out. You want to look at the ceilings for water stains, look at the floors for unevenness or soft spots. You want to look for cracks in the wall and also on the floors. Look at the condition of the roof, the age of the HVAC system, and the water heater. And you want to also ask when major systems were last replaced. Your agent can get answers to these questions. You want to be patient. In a competitive market, you may lose out on several homes before you land the right one. This is completely normal. Don't let frustration push you into making a purchase you're not fully ready to make. Finally, remember this. There's probably no such thing as a perfect home. Most buyers end up finding a home that checks most of the boxes, and that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's finding the right home that's the best fit for you and your family. Once you find the right home that's the right fit, it's time to make an offer. This is where the strategy really matters. Now, a lot of people think an offer is just deciding how much money they want to pay for the house, but there's actually a lot more to it than that. Your offer includes the purchase price, but it also includes things like financing, proposed closing date, the inspection period, and any other terms that are important to the transaction. Your offer may include contingencies. Think of contingencies as conditions that need to be met before the sale can move forward. These are the most important protections in the entire deal. The 3 most important contingencies are these. Inspecting contingency. This gives you the right to have the home professionally inspected within a set time frame, usually 7 to 10 days. If serious problems are found, you can request repairs, ask for a price reduction, or exit the deal entirely. Now, the finance contingency protects you if your mortgage falls through for any reason. Without it, you can lose your deposit if your loan gets denied. And finally, the appraisal contingency protects you if the home appraises for less than your agreed purchase price. In a very competitive market, some buyers choose to waive one or more of these contingencies to make their offer look stronger. These are calculated risks that should be only made with full awareness of what you're giving up. Now, once you submit your offer, the seller will accept, reject, or count. A count is completely normal. It's just the beginning of negotiations. So you want to stay focused on your budget, stay calm, and let your agent lead the conversation. Your offer has been accepted. Congratulations. You're finally under contract. The next step is opening escrow and submitting your earnest money deposit. Earnest money is a good faith deposit that shows the seller you're serious about buying the home. It isn't an extra fee. It's simply money that would be applied toward your down payment or closing costs. Once escrow is open and earnest money has been received, a transaction officially begins moving toward closing. Now it's time for the home inspection. This is your opportunity to have the home professionally inspected from top to bottom. The inspector will evaluate the home's major system, including the roof, the electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and foundation, and other visible components. The inspector may perform a wind mitigation inspection and a 4-point inspection, depending on where you're located. The purpose of the inspection isn't to find the perfect home. It's to understand the condition of the home so you can make an informed decision. Depending on the result, you may negotiate repairs, request credit, or simply move forward with the purchase. Your agent will help you figure out the best approach based on the inspection found and how motivated the seller is. Once the inspection has been completed, the next steps are the appraisal and the final loan approval. Your lender will hire a licensed, independent appraiser to evaluate the fair market value of the home. Its assessment of what the property is worth based on its feature, the condition, the size, and what similar homes in the area have sold for. The reason lenders order this is simple. They're not going to give you a loan for $450,000 for a home that's only worth $400,000. The appraisal protects them from overlending, and it protects you from overpaying. If the appraisal comes in or at above purchase price, everything moves forward. Now, if the appraisal comes in lower than the agreed purchase price, don't panic. Your options are to renegotiate with the seller to lower the price, come up with the difference in cash yourself, or walk away if your appraisal contingency is in place. Your real estate agent will guide you to your best options. At the same time, your loan is going through underwriting. Even though you're already pre-approved, the lender still has a few final steps before they can give you what's called a clear close. During this time, they're still verifying your employment, reviewing updated financial information, and making sure all the required documentation has been received. And now I'll give you the single most important rule of this entire phase. Avoid making any major financial changes. Don't finance a new car. Don't open new credit cards. Don't make large purchases. You also don't want to quit your job or change employers. Don't make any large unexplained deposits or withdraw from your bank account. Your lender will run a final credit check right before closing. In the meanwhile, you want to continue checking your emails and responding quickly if the lender requests any additional documentation. Once everything has been approved, you will get the clear to close. As closing day gets closer, you'll complete your final walkthrough. Think of this as your last opportunity to see the home before it officially becomes yours. If the seller agreed to complete any repairs, this is the time to verify those repairs have been completed. You also want to make sure any appliances or other items that were included in the contract are still in the home and that everything is functioning the way it should. If you find something significant, do not ignore it. Your agent can get it addressed before you sign. And finally, you made it to closing day. This is the day you've been working toward since you decided to buy a home. At closing, you'll sign the final loan documents and all the paperwork needed to transfer ownership of the property. Your lender will fund the loan. The title company will handle the transfer of the funds. And once everything has been completed and recorded, you'll officially become the new owner. This is also the day you'll receive the keys to your new home. This is the entire home buying process from start to finish. The process takes time, it requires patience, and it goes much better when you have the right people around you and you know what to expect at every stage. And now you do. If this video helped you, please give it a like and consider subscribing. I put out new real estate content regularly to help you make smart, confident decisions. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I read and respond to every single one. I'm Al Rather with eXp Realty, helping buyers and sellers throughout Central Florida. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.